What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Gerald from Bank of Gerald here with another video update. Today is Saturday, July the 9th, 2022. And today I thought I'd get started with a video that just talks about the newest development that has been posted in newspapers and has come across. I often get like tongue-tied saying come across my desk because I don't really like that saying, but it is what it is. Y'all know what I meant by that, right? It just came to my attention. And we're talking about, of course, Metafi yielders. And y'all know we have kind of closed the saga here at BOJ. But I just want to go over this new development because it is something very similar that we have seen in another project. And I just want to talk about it because this is the second time it's happened on this channel with a platform that we've been in. But it's the first time I've been as, I'll say, deeply involved, and I'll explain how involved I was just one last time. Why not, right? Before we get started, I want to remind all of you that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I am not your financial advisor. Let me add that I am not on the staff of any of these platforms. I'm not on the staff of any of these news publications that put things out about these platforms. I am just a dude on YouTube who's cranking out that crypto in many different platforms, nothing more and nothing less than that. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be updated and notified, hit the bell. All right. So a little backstory on my relationship with Metafi yielders. All right. We all know that I've been involved with the hype space, with the legacy platform space, with this crypto platform space for a little over a year now. Started back in February of 2021. And I started documenting my journey of that summer in 2021, right? So around the December timeframe, we came across this platform that was introduced to us. And I forget who introduced that platform to me, but it was called Futures Trade. And it had what seemed to us, to most of us, it seemed to have a CEO, right? Who was very responsive. He was doing Facebook Lives. He was doing Zoom calls with leaders. He was showing trading. Apparently he was trading. And that all went to crap one day when he decided that I don't know if it was him that decided this, but they decided to close the platform down. And the way they decided to close the platform down was this guy, he got on video, started crying and saying, you know, the authorities have come to his door and said that he needs to cease operations. All right. And this was a company that was based out of UK. And, you know, there was a lot of people in that area that tried to meet up with the CEO that wanted to discuss some things. He would only meet up with a few people that I guess probably were a part of the scheme or scam, but he would do Zoom calls with others. Right. So, of course, that didn't go well. It came out that the whole thing was pretty much a scheme by other people that were not this person that put his face all out there and stuff like that. He was pretty much just an actor. He was just pretty much a fall guy, a front guy that they were paying to make this seem like it was a legit operation. And it came out that it wasn't. They found out who the guy was. They found out who the scammers were. And I don't know the final result because that group chat got real messy and violent and different things of that nature. And I don't deal with those kind of things. So when it gets to that point, I bow out of stuff, right? I understand the risk of the space. I understand that any one of these platforms that we're in, whether they have a face or not, can decide that they are going to be done whenever they decide to be done. And that's just the risk that we take. Of course, I always put my money in first before I share anything, right? I always put my skin in the game first because I don't believe that I should be out here sharing my journey in something that I'm not in, right? But that's all I'm doing. I'm sharing my journey. So when I decide to put money in something, that is the start of my journey, all right? And then, of course, I post it on YouTube, which, you know, and I show my face and all that stuff. So it makes it easy to get picked on sometimes, right? So then we have a few months later in the year of 2022, just a few months ago, we have Metafi yielders that pops up. another leader in the space, Crypto Muscle, sent me a message and he's like, you should check this out. It has a CEO, he's doing Zoom calls with the leaders. You should check it out, right? And I don't usually do Zoom calls with leaders very often because I know the risk. I know that, and especially after that futures trade debacle, and I didn't even do a Zoom call with the owner at that time, right? But something compelled me to do it. Something just said, hey, you know what? If I have an opportunity to do it, you've already done it. Crypto Muscle had already done an interview, and he was very open to doing interviews with as many people as would want them. So I just took an opportunity. I said, you know what? Maybe this could be good for the channel if I actually take some time and interview one of the CEOs, right? And the person, Michael Daher, actually seemed to me like a pretty decent guy. And I think that's what happened to a lot of us. A lot of people really believed that Michael Daher was a good guy. He had people's best interests at heart. It was his platform. It was something that he knew enough about and was talking about. I had no preconceived notion that this was going to be something that was going to leave us as soon as it did. Now, even I said in my own interview with Michael Daher, I explained to him, I said, look, this is what can happen if you decide to rug pull, if you decide that, this is not going to be something that you want to continue to do. And we went over that. I told him a little bit of the story about futures trade and how that really got people up in arms. And, it caused some I don't know that bad things happened, but I know there was a lot of people that wanted to do bad things, right? To cause violence and harm to not only the CEO of that other platform, but anyone that they knew, right? So just getting kind of cutting to the chase, Metafi yielders ended, and we as BOJ, it made it easy for a lot of people to pick on me because one, I did interviews. Two, I was one of the highest paid people in Metafi yielders due to the fact that people used my link and other people that used my link shared it with others, and the trust level was high because there was a CEO and it was paying. The platform was actually paying. And that's what can happen when you have a platform that pays. It has a CEO that was showing his face and talking to people, not just me, but we're talking to leaders all over the world. And they claim to have a lot of things set up and that were getting ready to happen, a lot of traveling that was going to happen. And, he claimed he was going to come to the US and meet with us here and all that different stuff. And, he seemed like a good guy. But then we got this article that just came out. And I'm sorry it took me so long to get here, but I had to give a little bit of backstory, right? So we got this article that just came out, and it's been shared with me on my Facebook and my email several times. And this is from the Sydney Morning Herald, all right? This is a news publication in Australia, all right? And it goes by the title of Crypto Vertical, Dizzying Tale of an Aussie Scammer Who Says He Was Set Up. And this was posted on July the 9th, okay? And of course, we know this face. That is, well, I can't see it. That's Michael Daher's face, all right? And they got this thing behind him or whatever. It says, Australian man Michael Daher says he's been set up by the mastermind of an alleged cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme. And I'm going to leave this link in the description for you guys so you can read it on your own. But I just wanted to touch base on this because some of this I have not heard, all right? Some of this is actually a part of a story that sounds very, very, very eerily similar to the futures trade story, right? Where ordinary or seeming like ordinary person is contacted by these scammers. And I think there's even a name for it. Behind MLM came up with a name, or maybe they didn't come up with the name. I don't know, but they call it Boris, some kind of Boris Ponzi scheme, I guess, right? So let's read it. It says, in the weird world of cryptocurrencies, and particularly the wild west of social media investment schemes, things aren't always what they seem. Take the incredible story of an Australian man, Michael Daher. Speaking to The Age and the Sydney Herald, from an undisclosed location in Perth, Daher insists that he isn't the mastermind of an alleged cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme that fleeced $200 million from 70,000 investors, including in Australia, in 2 quick months, right? $200 million. That is ridiculous. All right. And I was told that there was more than 7,000 investors, but 7,000 investors, right? And this, of course, is Michael Daher. Says he's been set up by the investors in the group's cryptocurrency scheme and are still baying for his blood, whatever baying means. Let's keep going. Yes, that's him in promotional videos posted on YouTube as the self-described chief executive of the cryptocurrency-related investment scheme Metafi Yielders. Yes, that is him who is listed in corporate records as company director of the Australian entity set up as part of the scheme. Yes, that's him admonishing investors for complaining about not being able to withdraw their money when Metafi Yielders suddenly froze accounts on May 17th this year, claiming the step was a necessary step due to the global rout in cryptocurrency markets. We all remember that. Daher, while confirming these elements of the story, insists that he has been made the fall guy. Daher, who was accompanied by an advisor during our interview, says the scheme is really being run by a man from Nigeria. He says he was just contacted to be a front man and social media producer for the scheme. Daher and his advisor had been preparing a full report they were due to file with the Australian Federal Police on Friday. Daher provided emails showing that he has made police reports in Western Australia and Queensland. And so he said it will be a matter for police. Once it's been cleared by the police and Australian Securities and Investment Commission, I do have a message for the people who were customers of Metafi Yielders. So I guess he plans on coming out with another announcement. He has not contacted me. I don't know anyone that he has contacted in this time other than the Sydney Morning Herald to have this conversation. He says, you put your hopes and dreams in. Even I did the same. I thought this would change my life. Well, it sure did. And I don't think he means that in a positive way. His face is now all over the net. In a short 2 months, a platform came in and did $200 million and just decided to leave. So here's a title says the other version of events. Metafi Yielders investors have a different story. Several investors who wrote the Age and the Herald claimed Daher was the only person they dealt with during the scheme. The investors who wrote from the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and South Africa believed Daher was responsible for the scheme, an allegation he emphatically denies. Now, what I do know, and I'm just inserting my own thoughts here, is because of what happened with futures trade not too long ago, I do believe that this kind of stuff is actually happening to people where they may be threatened or they may be approached with an opportunity to be the face of a fake company. And they do that for a little while the company is running. And when the company decides to close, they just close. Now, what I think the difference is between this and any other one is that Michael Daher built relationships with people, right? I know we built a relationship. He built relationships with a lot of the leaders out there, said he was going to do traveling and all this different stuff. And I'm not taking any heat off of Michael Daher, but I'm just adding heat to the pot because there's equal heat to be shared. All right. The people that got him involved and that decided to run, if that's the story, they get heat too. All right. If it was all Michael Daher, which of course he denies, he gets the heat too. He's not exempt from the heat. All right. And it says, going forward, this mess that has been left behind by the closure of Metafi Yielders is a story for modern age, where investment schemes promoted online and through social media are promising big returns, often on cryptocurrency investments, and carry huge risks. All right. And that's something that we talk about all the time, every day on this channel since we started. Right. We understand that this platform space, this crypto space, the crypto investment space carry huge risks. And the reason why I say it over and over to never put anything in these platforms that you aren't willing to lose is because Things like this can happen. You know, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in platforms like this. Okay. Now, some are going to say, oh, well, you're a YouTuber. You know, whatever you touch, it, you know, you're going to make money off of it. Well, go back to the beginning of my journey, right? You can go all the way back to day one, where I started talking about the platforms that I was in and how many of them are still here today from day one. All right. 0. So we know that platforms come and go. Anyone that watches me know that platforms come and go. I even told Michael Daher about this space. And all of this is documented, by the way. You can go ahead and check out my interview with Michael Daher. It's still on my page. I told him about some of the things that could happen if he was, you know, to run off. And some of that stuff is starting to happen. So let's keep going. Just this week, in Australian Competition and Consumer Commission warned that Australians' combined loss in the investment scams was $701 million. The main driver of the increase was cryptocurrency investment scams. The fallout of Metafi yielders, which had arms in Hong Kong and Australia, highlights the serious risk for investors participating in schemes that sit largely outside Australian laws. Metafi yielders had an attractive offer to an investors, promised to pay its clients daily interest between 1% and 3% on their cryptocurrency investment at the time when the market was running red hot. Investors did initially receive payments, but the music stopped in mid-May, and not long after, Daher found himself at the center of investor fury. Since June, more than 20 customers of Metafi yielders have written to the Age and Herald to air their complaints. The customers all allege money they deposited in the trading scheme, from thousands to tens of thousands, each was gone. And those of you that know me, I invested tens of thousands. I think my investment was over 40,000. All right. And one person named Sue says he came across so sincere. An Australian-based investor who asked for her surname not to be published, Sue, who has invested in the cryptocurrency for some time, says she was initially happy with the investment scheme, receiving a large return on her initial $3,000 or $4,400 investment in Metafi. Everyone started getting paid, and this was great. The later investments would disappear, and the company would blame the rout in cryptocurrency prices. Sue was shocked when they told Daher, now says he's a victim of the scheme as well. Well, we saw nobody else but him. He came on the videos. He said, I'm not going anywhere, guys. I'm not like the other companies. Then he disappeared, which is exactly how it went down. Like, he came on live, you know, everything that the YouTubers were doing were pretty much just doing updates on what he was saying, right? But we all just saw him. He was the only person on the Metafi yielders page. He was the only person. He would mention people like me because, of course, he mentioned me because I was growing a team, 1. And 2, I helped him come up with the idea of making his own t-shirts. So he mentioned that a good amount of times. But anyway, let's keep going. That's exactly what he did. Turmoil and chaos. In the most recent video to investors posted on YouTube around May 25th, but since deleted, Daher described himself as CEO of the group and used the term us when defending the company and scolding investors. The video was posted about a week after investors were blocked from withdrawing their money and the platform, and after some investors had allegedly made death threats. All right, we heard about that. There's been turmoil and chaos in Metafi yielders since the market crash. You guys seem to have turned on me for this. I did not create the market crash. You guys are educated enough to read the terms and conditions that were set out for investing, putting money into platforms using software. Daher says in the video that was posted online by a YouTube investment influencer. Since Monday, 2 weeks ago, all I'm getting is death threats, people calling my home, finding my home number, spreading it across little private groups. This is not going to be tolerated within the group. If you've got something to say or you need to say or do something, please go through the legal channels. Daher went on to say that they were working through a repayment plan for investors. Daher says when he made that video, he thought trading had been temporarily paused rather than stopped entirely. While much of the Metafi yielders' life was online, there are traces of it in the real world. Daher, who sports a beard and an easy-to-like sensibility, appeared to register an Australian company, Metafi Yielders Pty Ltd, in March this year. The company records lists the sole director as Michael Daher, born in 1984 in Blacktown, and still a resident of the suburb. 2 months later, Blacktown Michael Daher was replaced as the sole director by a Michael Daher, born in 1979, in Lebanon and living in Perth. Daher says that the man who was actually running the scheme set up the company, invented his address, birthday, and birth location in the company's registration documents. Daher says that he had these director details changed on May 9th when he became aware of the discrepancy. Another Australian company that counts Daher as director has a different spelling of his first name, listing him as a Michael Daher with a C-H-E-L. He tells the Age and the Herald he has recently cleared up that administrative error. That meant the name Michael appeared on his passport and birth certificate, while the name Michael appeared on his driver's license. He says that the Australian Metafi company never earned any income. ASIC records show that he has filed to deregister the company. He says that the scheme's now defunct website was run by a Hong Kong company, Metafi Limited, which he says incorrectly lists him as a director. Mystery Man. We're almost done with this, ladies and gentlemen. Daher emailed the Age and Herald last month after learning investors contacted this masthead. In the email, he provided a statutory declaration witnessed by a dentist in the Brisbane suburb of Bulimba, where he denies any responsibility for the scheme. The document is signed under the name Michael Daher, all right? And I don't necessarily understand how he could deny any responsibility for the scheme, because he was literally the face of it, called himself the CEO. But I digress. In that document, Daher claims that in March, he was introduced to a man who asked him to be the public face of Metafi Yielders. It says they agreed on a weekly rate that was $2,000 to be paid in cryptocurrency plus a 10% commission after the project was launched. My duties in this role included producing the instructional videos for the new platform and speaking with prospective global partners via Zoom call, which is exactly what he did. He spoke to me, he spoke to Crypto Muscle, he spoke to so many people all over the world on Zoom, ladies and gentlemen. I was just one of them, all right? And I wasn't even the first. Daher names the man who he believes is the mastermind of the scheme in his statutory declaration, but also says he believes it was a name used by 3 different men. He emphatically denies any involvement in the closure of the site and the alleged disappearing of investor funds. It says, I have been wrongly accused of being the person responsible for stopping deposits and withdrawals. I have been wrongly accused of stealing people's money and being a scammer running an international Ponzi scheme. He claims in his statutory declaration that his identity has been stolen and that his promotional videos were loaded up onto the internet after he provided them for approval to the man who had asked him to be the social media manager and public face of the scheme. Daher's statutory declaration also confirms that ASIC made contact on June 10th to raise its concerns about the scheme and to ask the group to stop using ASIC's logo. The letter from ASIC, which has been published online, warns it is in contravention of Australian law to make false or misleading representations in trade or commerce in relation to those goods and related services. Despite no longer being involved in the group, Daher says he immediately complied with ASIC's request. He explains he did that by getting a message through to the man running the operation. Daher's versions of the events is cold comfort for investors like Sue. Once they shut down and run, ASIC can't really do anything, and they're not going to get your money back anyway. So that is the entirety of the whole Sydney Morning Herald article, right? It pretty much says that they have been in communication with Michael Daher, and Michael Daher had the opportunity to kind of share his version of the story. And he says it was some big elaborate scheme run by some Nigerians or a Nigerian that pretty much says that he is trying to remove himself from the scheme aspect of it all, even though he was the face. And one part of me understands, because we got people like behind MLM that try to say that I am some kind of thief and that I am somebody that's out here stealing money and promoting Ponzi schemes. So let me be clear about myself first, right? I am a YouTuber. I took on this journey in YouTube because I understood that there were probably going to be some people that needed to know some information about these online platforms. Just because I decided to join YouTube and start talking about it does not mean that I was going to be able to help or stop anyone from joining these platforms that have already been running since before I even got involved in them. Okay. However, because I was the person that had a high amount of success in Metafi yielders, of course, they're going to try to put some blame on me. They're going to try to say that I stole hundreds of thousands of dollars and all this stuff. I didn't steal anything. Okay. What I do as a YouTuber is I put my money in first. That's the first thing I do. If I vet a platform and I decide that I'm going to do it, I put my own money first. Okay. That's neither here nor there. Okay. I take the risk first. Then I share my journey in taking the risk. In sharing my journey and taking the risk, a lot of people make decisions on their own. A lot of people decided to take my own interview with Michael Daher and tried to arrange their own, which they got access to do. They arranged their own Zoom meetings. They had their own Zoom meetings. Some people even started YouTube channels off of these Zoom meetings that they had with Michael Daher. So for those of you like the behind MLMs of the world that still want to use my face, that still want to use my name to say that I am the one that took money from people, I hope all of you understand that one, behind MLM is just here to put out bad information, all right, or act like they know everything about the space when they really don't. If they knew anything about me, they know that I'm just a person on YouTube that puts his money in first, shares his own journey, and whatever happens after that happens. Understanding the risk, understanding never to put anything in here that you're not willing to lose. I follow those same risk tolerance rules, and they are the golden rules of this space, for those of you that know it and for those of you that don't. So I just want to address that because, you know, I'm only going to talk about Behind MLM. I'm not going to share their link or anything like that, but you could probably find the latest article in Behind MLM as well, where they continue to put my face, they continue to drop my name, and because I don't give their platform that much credibility. I mean, they talked crap about NOVATECH, you know, so I don't really give them much credibility, but I want to make sure people hear from my mouth if they are listening. All right. I didn't scam nobody out of their money. I don't do that. I don't ask people for money. I don't ask you to send me any crypto. I never ask for that. All right. There are always going to be people that try to use my face and use my name and likeness to try to take advantage of people. I want you all to know that that'll never be me. All right. What will be me, though, is I will continue to try to find paying platforms, whether it has a CEO or not. All right. If they pay and they are paying me and I have deposited my money in here into any of these platforms, I'm going to talk about it on my channel because it's my right to do so. All right. I have the freedoms to do just that because I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just showing you exactly what I'm doing in this space. All right. And do I feel bad for those people that lost? Yes, I feel bad for those people that lost. I lost. It won't be the first time we lose. It won't be the last time we lose here at BOJ. All right. And I say this constantly. Those of you that aren't cool with the risk, it's okay to not join the platforms. It's okay to unsubscribe from my channel. It's okay to do whatever you have to do to protect you, your funds, and your family's funds. Okay. Nobody wants to lose. All right. But in this space, you must be prepared to lose. Okay. So for those of you that Metafi yielders may have been their first platform. All right. I want you to know right now, for me, this is a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me situation. The first time it was fool me once, it was futures trade. Shame on you, futures trade. The second time it was fool me twice, shame on me, because I did believe this platform would have some legs because it had a face. And now we know that platforms, just because they have a face, do not mean they're going to be successful, does not mean that they're going to last for a long time, does not mean that they're going to let you know when they're going away, does not mean that they're not going to try to pull your chain and string you along during the process of whether they're fixing issues or red flags or not. And what we know is that Michael Daher, even though he says he was not a part of the scheming and the scamming, he is a part of the stringing us all along, because he knew from the very beginning that he was contacted by Nigerians. He knew from the very beginning that they are the ones that set this up. He knew from the very beginning all that stuff. and yet he claimed to be a CEO himself. So I don't have a whole lot of respect for that. He hasn't contacted me. I mean, dude has my number. He hasn't contacted me to share any news with me, hasn't responded to any messages that I have sent him. And as you all know, I decided to move on a long time ago. But I always knew that the people that could not let this sit, they were going to continue to find a way to get the information out there to people that could do publications like the Sydney Morning Herald. And with Michael Daher being in Australia, in Perth, you know, his face and name is out there. So he's at risk. And I hate to say I told you so to him, right? I wouldn't be saying that to you guys because that's just messed up. But I definitely told him. I told him, I said, look, if you decide that you're going to run and hide or make excuses for not paying and all that stuff, there's going to be some consequences. And it's not going to be from me because I understand the space. If you leave out and you stop paying, me personally, I move on. That's just me, right? But please understand that other people in this space, especially people that just get in the space or people that put a lot of money in this space or this platform opportunity, because you were the person that was the head, or because I was the person that was sharing his journey, whatever the case may be, they are going to find you. So with that being said, I just wanted to do one last BOJ Speaks on Metafi yielders. One, because new information to me has come out. This is new. This publication where he's apparently talking to these news publications, that was all new to me. That was shared with me. And of course, the behind MLM stuff, that's going to continue to come. I am not worried about them. And anybody that takes any information that behind MLM gives them, please understand the context, all right? They may be knowledgeable on the fact that they have seen stuff like this before at behind MLM. Because, of course, we saw what futures trade did, and I'm sure it's not the first time. I've only been in this space for a year and some. So I'm sure it goes back many, many years of this kind of stuff happening. But the more we learn about this kind of stuff, the more responsibility we have. So I want to let you guys know, me personally, I don't care if a platform anymore has a CEO or doesn't. What we care about is, does it pay? And we understand the risk that it could go away. If you don't understand that risk, do not get involved. Period, point blank. Don't do it. All right. Save yourself the headache, save yourself the heartache. Don't get involved. All right. It's not for you. If you're a person that gets involved with a lot of money, but you're not sharing the opportunity with others, you're not sharing this stuff with others, and you're not managing your risk in that way, then that's a risk that you're taking. Okay. I know that sharing these opportunities, or sharing my journey in these opportunities, I should say, is promotion in some people's eyes. In my eyes, it is a promotion of my journey. It is not a promotion of a particular platform, even though each particular platform, I give their own space in their own video. What I am promoting, and you can hear this straight from my mouth, is my journey through this space, is my journey in the crypto investment space, going through the ebbs and flows, dealing with platforms that start off looking great, end up being schemes and scams. Some platforms start off looking not so sexy, but they end up being the most sustainable platforms in the space. That is the risk that we take here at BOJ. And again, if that risk is not for you, please don't continue to be in this space. Okay. I had to make a decision when I lost 30 grand when I first got started in the space. Am I going to quit? Am I going to go tuck my tail? Am I going to go and try to find something else to do? Or am I going to bow up? Am I going to say, you know what? I'm not going to quit. Matter of fact, I'm going to start a channel and let people know some of the things that I'm seeing in this space. All right. Whether they be good, whether they be bad, we're going to talk about them all. All right. And because we have continued to talk about this, we have gained subscribers, we have gained attention. Some may call it notoriety and popularity. Okay. But what I will never do is scam anybody for their crypto. That is something I will never do. It's not even in my DNA to scam anyone for crypto. There is not a Nigerian leader that could call me and tell me, hey, I want you to be the face of this thing and get all these people to join and all this stuff. No. What we do is we take our money, we deposit it, we share the journey of that. We share the journey of making money. If it turns out that we make money for a long time, great. If it turns out we don't make money for a long time, it is what it is. It happens in this space. So I just want to make sure this is clear. All right. This is a BOJ Speaks. So I'm not necessarily putting the thumbnail of Metafi yielders. This is just a free speak of some information that I've received about Metafi yielders. But I want everyone to understand that this is not the first time this has happened this way. It probably will not be the last time. So it is up to us to make sure that we are following our own rules. And I do believe there's a reason why there was only 20 people that decided to send their information to this lady that wrote this article. And it's because I believe, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, but I believe that most people understood the risk, especially people that joined under me, right? I believe that most people understood the risk of this platform. We just decided to take it anyway. And when we decide to take those risks anyway, then we have to be able to live with the decision that we made. And that's why I come back to the point where I always say, never invest anything that you are not willing to lose. And it's more than just losing the money. It's about the mindset behind it. Okay. All of us deposited in this platform to win. Some of us won, some of us lost. Most of us lost. All right. But what that should tell us is that, okay, this lost. How much did I put in? How much did I lose? Was I willing to lose it? If the answer is yes, then we move on. If the answer is no, I have to decide whether the space is for me. Did I over leverage myself? Did I put my family at risk? Did I take out loans and borrow money and all this different stuff to be able to be a part of this platform? That is also things we should not do. And I understand that I can't stop everyone from doing that. A lot of you are going to have different belief levels and different systems and different platforms, and there's nothing else I can do about it. I have people that contact me every single day asking me to do reviews of platforms that they've been looking at that they won't put their own money in, but they want me to do a review. I'm not doing it. I'm only talking about platforms that I first put my deposit in. And this was a platform where I did just that. I put my own deposit in. I was making my own returns. I was making passive money. And of course, through sharing opportunities in this space, because y'all know I do my best to find paying platforms, people came. And unfortunately, it rugged on us. But that does not mean we quit. Not here at BOJ. I don't care what happens. All right. We're going to continue to search for platforms and opportunities and PAMM accounts and between crypto trading and Forex trading and what NFTs or whatever there is out there in the crypto space that will allow us to make passive and active income. I'm going to be looking for them. And if I find them and they pay, I'm going to talk about them. All right. So this is just a short, long update on what has happened with Metafi yielders, what we are learning has happened. And I just want to second that I would never scam anybody out of their money. Okay. That's not what I do. What I do is I share my journey of different investment platforms that I first put my own money in. And then second, I document my journey in those platforms right here on my YouTube channel. That is it. And that is all. And for those of you that feel otherwise, you're entitled to your opinion. I respect your opinion, but we are now moving on. And I hope that this article helped somebody. If it did, for me, it was just new information. I have not spoken to Michael Daher. He has not spoken to me. And If it's got to stay that way, I'm okay with it because we're moving forward. We're moving on. All right. With that being said, in this wild, wild west of crypto, please, please, please put your 2FA on every platform that will allow you in all of your wallets. All right. Stay strapped. Don't get hacked. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be updated and notified about everything going on here at BOJ, just make sure you hit the bell, that good old notification bell. All right. I'll see you on the next one. We got some stuff to talk about today, so we're going to go ahead and do that. But I wanted to get this out first because people have been emailing me, asking me if I've seen it. Yes, I've seen it. And here's how I feel about it. All right. This is another BOJ Speaks on Metafi Yielders, Michael Daher, and the debacle that is Metafi. Peace out. See you on the next one.